This is Shay, and thanks for tuning in. It is Tuesday, and I am on a countdown. I am on a countdown to my spring break. Spring break actually happens on the end of Thursday. So at the end of Thursday, school will be out. Friday is a teacher planning day, and I've actually taken off that Friday so I can start my spring break a little bit early. And yeah, so spring break, I'm on a countdown. The kids are excited. On Thursday, they're actually going to be having an in-house field trip where some zoo animals are going to be brought into our media center, specifically for our pre-K and our kindergarten students, for us to have a field trip of seeing the animals, being able to touch and feel the animals, learning about the animals for something new that we're starting, which is our life cycle. So in our science, we're getting ready to start talking about life cycles of animals and plants, and so we are having an in-house field trip in order to kick off that particular study in science. So I'm excited. The kiddos are going to be excited.
So if you want to touch the sky, you're more than welcome to. The difference between it means instead of seeing color, they see in heat. For example, I'm warm, so I'm just looks a giant red blob. Everything else is blue and cold like ice. He's only going to attack tiny red blobs that smell what he recognizes. I'll show you his run, or more so his strut. So I'm gonna let Tony go down, and he is gonna run. Are you guys ready? Okay. Blink and you'll miss it. Look at him go. All the way back home. And tries to take a bite. All the quills will come out of her and go into me. As you can tell, it doesn't bother her when I pull the quills out. There's no nerves attached. I can pull out as many as I like, and it won't bother her. I'll give them back to you later, I promise. Okay. Unless you're allergic to bees, it's a little more intense. At least for the same animal that eats garbage at night. What animal eats garbage at night?
So yeah, on today, I just wanted to talk with you just briefly about something that one of my former principals said to us meaning we teachers, in one of our faculty meetings. She said something really poignant, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was like really eye-opening. I just wanted to share that with you guys on today. So yeah, so I have been very blessed and very fortunate to have like dynamic principals at my school. And so this principal, a couple of years back, she said something to us, like I said, in the faculty meeting. And what she said was, she said that your colleagues are not your friends. I'm going to say it again. Your colleagues are not your friends. And we all kind of gasped, and it was like, okay, like, oh my gosh, okay, what is she saying? What is she talking about? And she was like, I just want to be really transparent and share with you all that, unless you all are like, have the phone number to one of your colleagues and you're talking with them and you're going out with them and their children and you vacation with them and, you have that personal relationship with your colleagues, then please don't consider them your friend. Because she was like, you have no idea of how many of your quote unquote friends, colleagues that you have kind of moved into that friend zone in your life, that they come to me behind the scenes to talk with me about what it is you're doing, what it is you're saying, what it is you're not doing, the things that are going on in your classroom, what's happening with your students, what you are or aren't doing based on their perspective of what you're doing in your classroom with your students and how you're teaching. And she was like, please understand that there is a difference between someone who is your friend, has your best interest at heart, who wants the best for you, who will give to you and sacrifice for you. There's a big difference between that type of relationship and then the relationship of where you work together with someone and you see each other oftentimes more than you may see your children or maybe even see your spouse or your family, because you're working together. But just because you're working together and are in a close proximity with one another, just because you see each other all the time, does not mean that that person is your friend. And we were like, oh my gosh, what has been happening behind the scenes? Like, exactly what is she seeing and what is she hearing for her to actually come into our faculty meeting to tell us this information, just so we can be understanding and of the relationship and aware of the relationships and the people that we pull into our lives, or the people that we end up sharing our heart with and sharing what's going on, with us personally with. And so I was like, that was mind-blowing. And I had to think back on how many relationships have I crossed that line with? How many relationships have I done that with? And at work, you really want to have a bestie, a work bestie or a work friend, because it makes the difference. I don't care if you're a teacher, I don't care what profession you're in, but when you are able to go to work and just really enjoy the people that you're with and enjoy the relationships, and it just makes a difference. I remember when years ago when I first started teaching, and I remember going through that kind of the new hire training and things like that. I met a lot of new teachers, and I met someone who, she was fantastic. She was really sweet, really fantastic, but she worked at a school where everyone was really mean to her. Sometimes you start somewhere new and the people are already seasoned and they're already veterans, and you're coming in new and you're younger and they're thinking oh, this and that. So it was really difficult for her to have a friend and cultivate that friendship. I was very fortunate and blessed that once I got out of new hire, that situation, and I was at my school, I was surrounded with people who were really kind and wanted to share their resources with me and share their teaching styles, and really sat down with me and mentored me, right? But she wasn't in that situation, but she did find one person that was willing to help her, and she kind of latched onto that person and was ended up telling that person her personal business and telling that person, and that person ended up being, for her, more, she needed more from them than what they needed from her, and it ended up being a lopsided situation. And then she ended up finding out that person was saying different things, about her, not trying to hurt her, but she ended up just hearing things that were said that from conversations that she was having with that person. Other people knew about it, and then it was getting back to her. So I was wow. So I was trying to talk with her. She actually wanted to come to my school because my school is a fantastic school. Her school was a little bit more challenging. My school is an A school. Her school was a C school. So she was having those challenges with students and things like that. But she lived too far from my school. But yeah, so a lot of times we want, like I said, that work bestie. We want to be able to come and laugh with someone because it makes a difference. When we're in our classrooms and the doors are closed, we're with however many number of students that we have all day talking and, teaching, things like that. You want that break to have, someone that you can just talk with, another adult, things like that. But not always is that the case, right? So if you have a work bestie or someone who you're really close with, cultivate that relationship. But just remember, y'all, not everybody is your friend. They're maybe just in that colleague zone, and they need to stay in that zone. And then your friends need to stay in that friend zone. And then we need to be able to see the difference and then not cross the line or understand the boundaries between the two, just for your being able to be successful, and just for you to be able to, have a great working experience. So that's it. It's really quick. I just wanted to come on and share again what that principal said. It was a small little statement, but it goes a long way. And I just wanted to share that with you. Now, at my job, I've been very blessed to have a work bestie. I had a couple of colleagues that I felt were friends, but I found out they weren't. And it wasn't anything tragic or anything really wild, but I ended up, over the years meeting and working with someone. I worked with her all along, but now she's my work bestie, and we help each other. We talk with each other about the job. We share our resources. We share our experiences. We kind of bounce things off of one another, just like friends, what friends do. But guys, again, when you find that relationship in a colleague where you move them into that friend zone, just cultivate that. And if you haven't found that yet, it's okay. Just keep working. You will. And then hopefully you will get a work bestie or a work friend, but just remember to know the difference. Okay, guys, so just let me know if this information or this advice from my principal has been relevant to you, has been helpful for you. If you've encountered the same scenario or situation where you thought that a colleague was a friend and it turned out that they were a colleague. And yeah, I shared this information a couple of months ago, maybe about 2 months ago, with another colleague of mine. We were talking about something else, and I thought that it was relevant. So I just said, okay, let me just share. And she was like, oh my gosh, mind blowing. She was like, thank you for sharing that. She says, I kind of see now where I'm going wrong with some of my relationships at work. She says, because I'm kind of moving them into the friend zone when they need to kind of stay in the colleague zone because they haven't really shown me that they are a friend. And she was like, I'm just doing that, but haven't really shown me that they need to be in that zone. And sometimes we do that based on what we need, but not really based on what the situation presents or what it is really real. So just let me know if you've encountered this. Let me know if this has been helpful. Just leave me a comment down below. And that's going to be it for me. Today's actually Wednesday, and tomorrow's my last day before my spring break. Alrighty, this is Shay with The Learning Project. Thanks for watching.